Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Ikmal bin Muhammad Nizam. My number matrix is 17203939 and I'm from Islamic Astronomy. So, for this video, I will going to talk about property and possession. So, before we move further, we have to know what is the definition of property and possession. So, in this video, I'm going to divide this topic into two parts. The first one, I will explain about the property, and then the second one, I will explain about the possession. So, what is property? Property in Arabic is known as al-mal. So, what is the definition of it? So, the definition of property is it have many definition in this world. So in this video I'm going to talk about four different definition. So for the first perspective is from Ibn al-Athir. What is property from him? Property was originally something owned in the form of gold and silver, but then extended its meaning to anything that could be owned. And then the second one, Fuqaha gives various definitions of property. Property is something desired by human nature and can be kept for the required period of time. Property is something that can be owned by human beings and can be used in its ordinary form. And then the third one is from Imam Ash-Shafi'i. Property is something that has value and the person who damages it can be obligated to pay the compensation. And then the last one is from the dictionary Al-Qamus Al-Muhit. The definition of property is something that can be owned. So, what are the requirements of property? The first one, things that can be owned. And then the second one, things that can give advantage. And then the third one, things that recognized by Sharia. There are three requirements of property. So, what are the types of property? So, in property have property has four types. So, the first one is valuable property and worthless property, which in Arabic mutaqawwam, ghair mutaqawwam. What is the meaning of it? Sharia allows its ownership when it is legally and illegally owned for property that is not allowed by Sharia, such as using or possessing stolen goods or alcohol. And then the second one, property that is similar, mithli, or worth, qimi. What is the definition of it? So the definition of property that is similar or worth is properties that have similarities in terms of quality and quantity can be determined by means of there are uh four types under this property. So the first one, measured, which in Arabic al-makilat, like an example, rice with a measure of gantang or chupa in Malay. And then the second one, weight. In Arabic we call it al-ma'uzunat. As an example, as is fruits, vegetables that can be counted by kilograms or grams. And then the third one, calculated, al-adadiyat. Uh, like an example, a book or two pencils or five tables. And then the last one can be measured, al-zar'iyat, such as height, length, width, that can be counted using depa in Malay, yard, meter, centimeter, and many more. And then the third one, the third types of property is movable property manqul, and immovable property غير manqul. So, seen in terms of permanence and not staying in place, movable property can be moved places like a car, furniture, money, goods, or clothes, while immovable property cannot be moved to other places such as buildings, trees, or land. So, movable property, we can, like car, we can move to places. Immovable property, we cannot move because it is landed, such as buildings, trees, and many more. And then the last type of property is property that remains in its original form, al-istihlaki, and does not remain in its original form, al-isti'mali, after using it. Al-istihlaki is a property that changes its substance after use, such as food or drink, while the property of al-isti'mali changes its original substance after being used many times, such as clothes, cars, or furniture. And then we move to the second part, possessions. Uh, in Arabic, we call it al-milkiyah, ownership. So, what is the definition of possession? So, possession is ownership is a syar'i legal relationship between a person and a thing. The relationship causes him to have a privilege that can prevent others from owning the thing. This possession is not something of a physical or material nature, but something recognized by the shara for a person. So there are two types of possession. So the first one, perfect ownership, and then the second one, imperfect ownership. What is the definition of perfect? Conditions in which the owner can make full use of his property. So no one can cross the borderline of his property. And then the second one, imperfect ownership, a situation where the owner owns the property but does not have the benefits. So there are five types of imperfect ownership, which is the first one, loan, rent, conditional walk-off, and conditional will and consent. So, what is the meaning of loan? As we know, when we the definition of loan is when we lend something to somebody, such as uh, the bank, they give us money, they lend us some money to buy something. Th- Uh, that is the definition of loan in generally. So the second one, rent. What is rent? Rent is when we pay someone for the use. When we pay someone for the use, such as an example, we pay the owner of a house for our use. So we want to rent a house and then we pay the owner. That means we did not own the house perfectly. So the house, because the house has its owner, original owner, and then we have to pay it because we rent, because of the rent. And then the third one, conditional walk off. The fourth one, conditional will, and the last one, consent. So as a conclusion, it is critical to comprehend the concept of property and possession, since it affects every aspect of our lives, even the smallest details. By knowing these concepts as represented by Hanafi's and non-Hanafi's definitions, I was able to expand my knowledge, and I hope that you guys that watching my videos right now will be able to expand your knowledge too. And I think that's all from me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.